Welcome to Lore Lines, everyone. Episode 20. Today's a bit of a light day. We've got the PLL and the new trailer. I have not had the opportunity to watch it this week, so I'm going to react live. We're also a little light on cast today for various reasons. Kobarana, Yumi, and Neela and Kor are not present, but we will endeavor to do our best and have very much fun. So, light party today. Thank you, Bonnie. Falvin Hawk here. Welcome to Lore Lines. Hey everybody. How are you guys this week?
I'm existing.
I had a busy week with my mother being in the hospital and stuff, but unfortunately it turned out well, so here I am.
That sounds very stressful, Meowth. I heard through the grapevine, but I didn't pry. I'm glad she's doing okay.
Yeah, she's doing better. She only needs to rest now.
Yay!
That's very good. So, Bonnie added a new channel to the Discord.
Yes, I did. No one can see it, but it's just filled with bunnies right now, at least.
Well,
boy.
I mean, I guess it's fitting. Have you heard about how much bunnies breathe?
Yes, that's part of why I put all the bunny stuff in that channel. It's like, it's a horny jail channel. May as well just put all the bunnies in here.
That's where they belong.
Yep. I'm still not over the fact that Vera males are shorter than the Vera females. I really didn't think they were actually going to do it.
You know, I think it's fair and it's hilarious.
Yeah. One of my FC members is currently re-rolling his Viera, or his character back to Viera, because he told me months ago that if Viera males were smaller than Viera females, he was going to go back to female Viera so that he can recreate that meme of like the tall GF, short BF of just the girl lifting the guy up against the wall.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, well,
obviously,
this is where we're going now.
Yeah, it's unavoidable.
Yep.
It's also funny. The Viera males are supposed to be this like weird stalker in the shadows murder race.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah.
And
I guess
it's funny because
it's yeah.
Well, they're small and vicious. I'm just imagining a Monty Python skit, you know.
Which is funny. Like, oh god, I'm really bad at CM, so let me Google this. The max height Vera males, which is what I made, are 6.1 or 6'1" in height.
That's pretty tall still.
Don't think that's counting the ears.
Oh, it might count.
How much is that in meters or centimeters?
It's 186.5 centimeters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I forget what the female Vera max height is. What is the female Vera?
We're 10 feet tall.
Let's check.
Yeah, it's weird, Sludge. Sludge Prince says, "Oh wow, so many of you missing." Yeah, we had a hiccup, so I'm glad you're all here. Please hang out with us, and you know, light party.
Light party, yeah.
Lighter party. We're missing a DPS.
Yeah, I don't think you get light party till you hit 4.
Everything's fine.
We're unsynced. What else? The PLL was 14-hour stream. It wasn't obviously the whole thing wasn't a live letter, but
right.
They had events. I heard something about Blue Mage rushing to get every spell or something.
Yeah, they had an event where the community team was rushing to learn all of the Blue Mage spells, and if the community team managed to do it, then there's a Inferno jacket that's going to be added to the next Moogle Trove event. So, new glamour. I think they did succeed. I kind of like blacked out basically during the 14-hour broadcast because, you know, new game coming out that I was playing. I got 3 hours of sleep and then I stayed up for 18 hours playing it. And then, like, as soon as I saw the outfit that Foxconn was wearing, I had to AFK and get booze because I just couldn't even anymore. So
What did I miss?
let me see if I can find a picture of freaking
Let me throw us
whatever
over
the
to
hell that was.
the watch party
Because,
screen.
dear God, like, just, no. I'm surprised I didn't have nightmares about it.
It's really funny. Oh, what
this
game are you
is a
playing,
good
Bonnie?
picture.
You should share it with the crowd.
Yeah, I am putting it in live chat if I can press buttons correctly. So that's a thing.
No, he's right. Beaver. It's not even convincing.
I'm trying to
not
find
a
the
convincing beaver
close-up,
suit.
but
I thought it was.
dear
Oh,
Lord.
No.
It's just, it's so I just,
That's terrifying.
Yoshida's just confused and
like, as soon as they showed him on screen when the 14-hour broadcast started, like, I just had to stop. Like, I was in voice with people. I said, I'll be right back. I need alcohol for this. I went downstairs. I got 2 bottles of my hard lemonade, came back upstairs, cracked one open, and just everything was mostly fine after that. Here's another one for you so that you can see it in its full glory. Oh, yes, oh no is pretty accurate.
The fang, though. Never mind. This is peak content. We don't need the rest of them.
It's just,
But holy crap. Oh boy.
That's fucking terrifying.
They are special. Sludge Prince.
It's like a full thing too, by the way. Like,
it's a onesie.
Yeah, he's in a onesie, so his feet are covered too. Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous.
I don't know what weather is right now in Japan, but if he had the balls to wear this in mid-July, I mean, that takes.
Yes, I mean, frankly, like Yoshida at the Fan Fest wearing the Reaper costume and sweating for 3 hours for our benefit. Like, they will sweat. They don't care. These developers.
I'm giving you 2 more images just because.
What is that bamboo rod?
Because
holding
yes.
4 more beavers. This about me, and for the internet and for posterity. Deep inside my heart, my career of choice probably would have been mascot. I'm not kidding. Like, I would love to wear this thing and just be ridiculous in public, but with the mask of having a giant costume. Oh, it'd be glorious. Zombie Zanetta's back. Welcome. Welcome.
Welcome.
Is he bleeding? Is that nose blood? What is... You see this red...
But
this red hue
I don't know
around
what.
I think it's just a shadow, but...
Just a shadow.
So I'm going to link you another thing from...
It's a pixie.
Oh, it's a pixie.
Oh.
Okay. This looks like he's smoking it.
Sure.
I mean, they're afraid of beavers. I don't know why.
That's it. We've solved exactly what beavers do and why the pixies are
turn you into
terrified of them.
beavers. That's all.
So the
They just-
pixies get turned into beavers, which
Yes,
is like the
yes.
even more confusing part.
It's just random. Like, there must be a cultural thing somewhere that I'm just not savvy to,
Right.
where like fairies and beavers are a thing. I don't really know what's going on, but it was hilarious and I laughed.
Yeah.
What is this doing in my Shadowbringers? Oh, the beavers.
All right, I sent you another picture to put up on screen. Oh yeah.
Absolute worst one.
Yeah, that was the point where I'm like, okay, booze. I need booze.
It's alcohol time.
Yeah.
Cursed. Super cursed.
Like, at first I was horrified just by the face paint. And then, like, I just started noticing more and more things. And then I noticed the beavers on top of his head. And then I noticed that they're holding
The ears are
flowers. And I was just
beavers.
like, I'm done!
The ears are beavers. What if we put them on our head?
It's beaverception.
Yeah. Very self-satisfied grin.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I did this.
Like, you know that I'm just completely broken when the entire time, like, I couldn't even make inappropriate beaver jokes just because I was so done.
It's bonk malfunction.
Yes,
malfunction,
bonk
yeah.
malfunction. It doesn't happen to me often, but whew.
The ultimate turn off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so sad about this.
You know? Explain.
So, these are rejected plushies, like rejected merch. They're basically all prototypes that they had made, and none of them made the cut to actually become merch. So no Best Boy plushie for people, no Hildebrand, Tataru, Kryl, Nanamo, or Hades for anybody. It's like, sure, there's a lot of people on Etsy and whatever who make plushies, but it would have been really cool if Square came out with their own official ones.
You know, all of these look like they were rejected for a reason, and I do love them conceptually. But if you look at Emmett Sulk, whose his hairline's way too high, and the face is just kind of weird, and then you look at Grahatia's nosebleed nostrils.
Yeah, Nanamo just has surprise Pikachu face going on.
Pika.
Yeah.
And Kryl the same, and I'm really not like, is that a Manderville man? What is that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Hildebrand.
I'm not convinced.
I think it's Hildebrand and Nashu.
Like, if that's Hildebrand, I'm not convinced.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it you know, I could never make these, but the point being, they need to work on their you know, the actual sewing.
Yeah.
Fair.
I was highly entertained though when I saw these, because for a couple years now they've been like, oh yeah, we won't do merch of villains and we won't do minions of villains, and I'm like,
Why not? I know why. It was rhetorical.
yeah.
I don't agree though.
Yeah. And then here we have an Emmett Silk plushie. So Square, like, do you have something to tell us? Or have you decided that, you know, popularity trumps your thing about not doing merch on villains?
I think Shadowbringers just brought everything they may have said upside down, because all of a sudden, in a sense, the villains are not so that villains. Perhaps the moment we get a Xenos plushie, then it's like, okay, now you have to talk.
So Sludge says, Fandaniel plush to stick pins in, please. I know a few cast members who
stick something in Fandaniel.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some bonkable stuff there. Especially when Fandaniel Bunny Boy happens. I almost made him last night, but I spent 3 hours on my character Elidibus and Emmett Selka's bunnies. Because I made a Wolita bunny
They literally gave one of the Viera the Emetzel's nose. Yeah,
I think that's the face that I'm using because it looks like a mono art, right?
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I mean.
Yeah, so that's the face that I decided on. Not many people seem to like that one, but there are some really good faces. They did a really good job, I think, with the Bunny Boys. I would have
Yeah.
liked like one more option just to go like super masculine so that people have that option if they want it. But the androgynous look is pretty good too.
I mean, lore-wise, it makes sense because
Mhm.
the Viera are pretty much they pretty much are the same. Even the interview they made with Matsuno, when he said that up until their teens, basically, you wouldn't be able to differentiate a male
Male
Viera
and
from a
female.
female. So
Yeah.
They're wrong.
Yeah, Miss Delina, before I even made my character, I made Hades as a bunny because I was going through the noses and I saw his nose in there. I immediately dropped what I was doing, changed the hair colors, the eye colors, and then took 2 screenshots and sent them to Meowth because I was just like, help!
yeah, and I was sleeping when she sent that, so I was just like, I saw it like I was half awake and and I actually realized, oh.
Yeah. I was so surprised. Like, I'm so used to them doing, like the super straight noses or the small button noses and other noses that don't necessarily look quite right. So when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, they're
Does
expanding their
does this
horizons. It's
mean
amazing."
does this mean that fan art of Ronkan Emperor Emetzelk maybe perhaps canon? If they have
Possibly.
Right?
his nose.
That'd be amazing. Now I kind of want to actually go with that character and put him in the Ravel Keeper gear.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it, Meowth! Why do you have to remind me of that art?
Bon, do you have any other screens I can share?
Yeah. Let me. So there's a lot. Do you want stuff from the PLL or do you want bunnies? Like,
Oh, I'm happy to share. Let's just have a conversation, and then in a few minutes I'll put the trailer up so we can all watch it in 2K resolution.
yeah, let me scroll because this channel keeps being derp. Because I think we should go over the data center stuff real quick.
I
Once I
do
find where that is in here.
Sluts Princess about the thing about the nose. I feel that because I'm not self-conscious because my family from my father's side it's kind of a legacy of sorts. But I do have a rather big prominent nose, so that combined with I have really thick eyebrows, and I think my looks are a bit not your usual idea of femininity, but then again I'm zero feminine, so I don't care. But it's like I have a weird face.
Alright, I'll give you this link while I look for the data center info because this is the upcoming schedule. Actually, it's 2 images for the upcoming schedule, but close enough.
All right, so July 19th, Make It Rain begins. On the 20th, we have 558, Feast Season 20, miscellaneous updates. That'll be very minor, I'm sure. Moonfire Fair.
5.58 is also data center travel.
Right. Oh, that's true. That is true. So that's big.
Between your
content
regions,
goes,
I can't go where you are.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to find the full info.
So it was reported that they wouldn't have us be able to transfer basically continentally, but
Correct.
that was just a current feature issue, and they actually are going for global transferability. That's what I heard reported.
Well, that would be preferable.
But I don't have a source. It was just grapevine. If you have one, that would be phenomenal. It might even have just been something they touched on in the 14-hour broadcast.
So
yeah,
we're
it
going
could have
to
been in the
have
Q&A.
So we're going to have a third rising for Shadowbringers.
3 years.
Yes.
Yeah, COVID times.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's going to be interesting because this, if nothing of this had happened, we've been already playing Endwalker and probably starting Pandemonium.
Oh yeah, I don't know if anyone necessarily cares, but they also confirmed what the minion bonus is going to be for the Death Unto Dawn soundtrack. If anyone else has ordered that, it's going to be Wind Up Lena.
Oh, that's great.
I like.
I'm fine with Lena. I like
Lena. Really. It's not gonna make me buy the thing.
Yeah, there's the picture if you want to show it.
Real quick, so 8/13 Moonfire Fair, 8/27 The Rising. Get your car on September 13th. Also, that fight was pretty fun. I wouldn't mind doing it again if they allow recompletion of prior. Anyway, Media Tour. This is promotion for Endwalker, like the final promotion event, probably. And then Moogle Treasure Trove, October 19th. I was going to say this earlier when Moogles came up. I know they're not listening right now, but I sure wish they would allow us to keep buying the stuff when the event is over. And just not allow continuing to farm the tomes, because it's like I forgot by one day.
So you sort of can, but I think the FanFest ones, they didn't let you do that, which was weird. Because if you talk to the Moogle, there's a previous exchange option.
The most recent thing is not, or at least when I checked, it wasn't available.
Yeah, I had the same problem. I had like 180 something tomestones that I could have turned in, but I forgot. So
early access, November 19th. Cancel Thanksgiving. Don't see your family. Play Final Fantasy and Walker.
Thankfully, we don't celebrate that here, so it's fine. Though November 18 is my birthday, so
it is interesting. Like 1 week before that in North America would have been fine. Yep. I actually am pretty excited though. All Saints Wake. Is that right?
Yeah.
Isn't that a month late?
Yeah.
Why are we having November Halloween?
Well, it's tentative. I'm assuming that they're not 100%. They're going to get it finished in time for Halloween. Because we didn't get All Saints Wake at all last year.
That's one of my favorite events, to be honest. Like that and Starlight. 2 years ago, I liked when we were doing the songs in Gridania at the Mikado Amphitheater. That was fun.
Yeah.
All right, and 2022, Heaven's Turn. Man, time's flying.
It really is. Which is good, because that means Endwalker's here sooner.
Yeah.
Death Unto Dawn, Final Fantasy XIV original soundtrack. Pre-orders available. And
the Lena minion
Wind Up Lena.
Cute.
Oh, she's doing the salute. That's perfect.
She is really cute.
Yep. Part of the storyline of this game during the 5.3 patch was Grahatia kind of coming clean with Lena about like what she means to him and like the value of the city and everything. And I found it curious that he talks about, and I might be mistaken, please correct me, but he's known her whole life, including when she was a small child, which means even though Vieira lived very, very long, she's on the younger side, and I liked that. It was a nice touch.
Yeah.
Because he's been on the first for a solid hundy. And
Yeah.
it was cute. It was a cute touch.
If I remember right, her parents were killed by sin eaters and something like that, and then he basically adopted her.
Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah, super duper cute. I love some of the fan art that has spawned from that because, like, you know, baby Lena and kiddo Lena. And like there's art of Graha making a birthday cake for her that's really precious.
I need all of it. I need all of it. Oh, public announcement. My son is 3 today. So we had Oreo ice cream cake, and he has a bunch of toys, and they're playing upstairs right now. So it was fun.
Happy birthday to him.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oreo ice cream cake. Delicious.
It was yummy. And of course, being 3, he already broke something.
Of course.
Right? Rip crack. No!
F.
He tried to put it back though, and Mommy's like, "No, it's broken." Anyway.
So, Fao, how about the benchmark trailer? Okay.
Yeah, one more slide.
Upcoming installments of the letter.
Yeah, I figured that was kind of important. I do have one thing to add, but that'll just be verbally after that.
No, please.
They confirmed they are going to be doing media tours. Oh, that one shrunk. You'll need to remove the size stuff after the JPG part of the URL. So they confirmed that they're going to do media tours, and they confirmed that the media tour is going to be remote. So it's not going to be in-person media tours this time.
You know, I'm not surprised by that at all.
Same.
Yeah, I'm super not surprised.
It's fine. Better to be safe than sorry.
I'm curious to see how they're going to handle that, because with it being remote, I'm sure there's more opportunities for stuff to get leaked that they don't want to get leaked. But
it's a possibility, but they've been actually pretty much keeping everything under wraps for the whole of Endwalker.
Yeah, they have.
Which is, well, impressive.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I know that there are technically data mines and there are some leaks, but as far as the general public knows, like, you really have to look for these. Square Enix as a company is like, they're watertight. Like, they do not leak in the conventional sense.
Yeah.
And it's pretty impressive. Like, every cycle, unless there's someone in the community who's literally hacking the game files, which are around. Feel free to look. I will never post them myself. But, like, the company doesn't leak. It's crazy. And
yeah,
I really appreciate that.
Like, leading into Shadowbringers, of course, there were the Blue Fever leaks, which was someone that actually worked at Square. But that person doesn't seem to work at Square anymore.
Exactly.
So, like, you know, they're on their shit. Someone was leaking. They're now gone.
Well, we had Puppet Master and Beastmaster leaks, and guess where they ended up?
In the bin.
In Bazia.
Well, yeah, that too.
I don't think that they were actually a job. I think that the game files, they didn't know where they went, and I bet they were intended for that content the whole time.
Yeah, quite possibly. Like, I think they would have probably made Beastmaster and Puppet Master limited jobs if limited jobs had been received better.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But alas.
I honestly would much, much prefer Puppet Master be a real job, but that is because I played Puppet Master in 11, and it is fun, and I really liked how the automaton works.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that despite respecting the decision, it's a bit of a cop-out. Like, even Blue could have been done in a way where the job quests are you collecting the skills, and maybe there's like unlocked specifically allowed abilities, which
I
is what they
mean-
did in PvP and various other games.
I mean, never say never. Maybe they just need some work on that, and they could actually make Blue Mage work. I mean, uh, like you could still may have to collect some spells, but they could make like some spells mandatory, like they are for the quest lines that Martin actually makes us to. You have to learn these spells,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
spell,
this
this
is the
spell, and you
requirement for the
have,
quest.
and then you can advance your quest. Then with these spells, or choose the spells that every blue mage in the duty or is going to have them, and I think that should be enough for them to join and to join anything. But I guess that's something that with time they may address, and I'm fine. It's like I'm fine with that. It's like never say never. It's if they we only have to wait, then waiting is.
Yeah,
I
like
had
I think there's a lot of different ways they could have made Blue Mage work for 14 in overall content and kept the vibe. But I will admit it's a very tall order because Blue Mage in 11 holds a special place in many, many people's hearts, kind of like Red Mage. I'm one of the people who is extremely disappointed with Red Mage and Summoner in 14 because I played 11. So, with Blue Mage being even more popular in some ways than those two jobs were, I can see why they went and tried to preserve a lot more aspects with that job. It's just a shame it didn't work out.
Agreed. And I do agree with some of the other streamers over the years who have said like, no, this is supposed to be side content for a reason. It kind of broadens the game. Like, yes, you can't take it into Savage, but it's other stuff you can do that doesn't. It's divided up to kind of separate and increase the individual value of these spaces in a way.
You basically can nuke entire dungeons with it. So.
And yet, if you go into extreme trials, it's still a challenge, even with ethereal mimicry. As long as you're synced.
What's interesting to me is since Blue Mage isn't a real job, that means we still only have. It means we still only have 3 casters. So next expansion, when they probably give us our 4th caster finally, it's going to be really interesting to see if they, finally pull in Time Mage, if they pull in Geomancer, or if they go ahead and they do something new and unique to 14 like they're doing with Sage and Reaper.
Last thing I want to say before...
Sage is not entirely new since it's been a class.
No,
in Final Fantasy 3, I think.
It's not.
And
it's not
in Tactics and Tactics Advance, it's also one of the jobs. The Numo can it's Numo exclusive, but Reaper, that one is indeed unique to
14.
To 14. I mean, if you don't count the other size user size from Type 0, but that's not exactly the job.
Yeah, so I am excited for Sage. However, I disagree with the idea that it's taken from other games. It seems like they just took the name from other games.
Yeah.
And that's not quite the same. So it's a laser healer. It is not a I know both black and white magic at the top of my ability. It's total, it's just different. It's different.
It makes sense.
Me of what else I was gonna grab you.
I mean, and I don't know how Sage was in Final Fantasy 3, but for me it made sense. And knowing Yoshi P, whatever. But for me, it made sense in a way, because my first contact with Sage was Tactics and Tactics Advance. And even though, of course, they use a different weapon, and I know what Yoshi P, of course, looks at Matsuno's work very closely, the new MOA Sages in Tactics Advance 2, they do have a laser nuke ability, and they can heal as well. So it was
sure.
for me. Seeing the sage was like, oh.
So you're saying they took the tactics advanced sage. Got it.
Yeah. I highly recommend Tactics Advanced and Tactics Advanced 2 to play. Then you may have an insight on some jobs that you actually may see, because Color, for example, is Tactics Advanced 2, works different, but it's fine. Tactics Advanced 2 and some others. So yeah.
Well, since we're showing slides. Woo
You must have a really big monitor, don't you?
Oh, yeah. It's a 32-inch curved widescreen, not ultra wide. It's just a wide.
Gotcha.
And,
I was just like, damn, my screenshots are so small on your computer.
Yeah,
And here I am with my laptop.
It's a 1440 screen as well.
Okay.
Which is part of the problem. If I just had my old 1080 screen, I could stream the game and the other stuff. Anywho.
The struggle.
This key art, I love it.
So do I.
I like actually the job icon.
Yeah,
Same.
me too.
Hey, look, it's lasers.
Lasers.
Well,
We
yeah.
got air rods.
Do you want to read it off and then show the Reaper one?
The nation of Charlian is the cradle of knowledge, and the studium its foremost institution of learning. Yet more so than its incomparable library and formidable assemblage of archons, this prestigious academy is famed for blending traditionally distinct fields to produce revolutionary new disciplines. Among these, perhaps the most distinguished is an altruistic art which draws upon the wisdom of etherology, sorcery, and medicine, dubbed somaneutics. The art seeks to heal and protect by manipulating corporeal ether through the use of newliths, a flying array of foci. Practitioners are dedicated to the betterment of mankind, and for their wisdom and compassion eventually came to be known simply as sages.
They still have to. They still should have to explain why they resemble a spirit vessel, but.
Yeah. Maybe Graha and Ishtola during the course of Endwalker are going to be like, so we still have all those spirit vessels laying around. And they're not for plot convenience anymore. So what do we want to do with these?
Laser heals.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they basically stick them to Alfino's back.
Yep, and then we're like, we have created a new weapon.
Anyway, Reaper, whose icon is a scythe.
With a circle for
Hey, look, it makes
some
sense
reason.
for once.
I'm intrigued by the circle. I mean, of course, I anticipated that the icon would feature a scythe, and it's like kind of similar to part of what I designed. But I actually really like this one.
The circle with a little nub on it is driving me crazy because I'm like, why is that there?
Yes.
Is it supposed to be a representative of a portal, or is it an eye, or what is it? Why is it there?
Samurai? Have you seen that icon? I cannot make heads or tails of that thing.
It's the hilt of a katana. If you look at it
from the front
and see the handguard.
You see the triangle is the katana blade, and the circle is the hilt.
Yeah.
This is very artistic, is my point. Which is fine. Perhaps they should be, but yeah, oh, that's a scythe. Got it. Oh boy. Reaper, DPS. The Garlean's forebears were once humble farmers who made their home among the sun-drenched fields of southern Ilsabard. That was until they were driven from this paradise by invaders wielding arcane magics. Forced north into the frigid mountains, the survivors sought a means to tap into the reservoir of ether otherwise closed to them. A daring few found their answer within the void, binding themselves to its creatures to gain verboten power fed by the souls of the slain. Once more they took up their scythes, this time to reap a crimson harvest.
So basically, an angry botanist.
Hi,
it's me, angry
Fear the
botanist.
Reaper. Farmers had enough of this bullshit.
Yeah.
Data Roxas. July 11th, 2021.
Botanist is the first gatherer I leveled too. And like I used the Fear the Reaper title for a while, so I'm just like, oh man, this is perfect. Absolutely perfect. 10 out of 10.
I'm feeling so validated. I mean, of course, I knew the job icon wouldn't be resembling mine, but I'm feeling validated because I called the Reaper being a Guardian discipline, and yes.
Like I really thought it was going to be Maki, but this idea that the Garleans are forging pacts with Voidsent, I'm extremely curious about that because under normal circumstances, don't you need to be able to manipulate ether in order to contact the void in the first place?
Maybe it's something. Maybe it's
yeah.
something, a device of sorts, or some machinery that the Gugans developed. You know, it's Construct 7 and Tartarus. They can open rifts in a sense.
There still is a loose end with that. We talked about it a few weeks ago regarding whether, whether Gabranth was speaking of his nation being the heritors of the Gugans, or whether it was the Ilsabard Garleans. And I know it's possible they came from a similar source. It's also possible they didn't, given the name.
I actually, when they say the Garlean forebears, I mean, of course, I get that the discipline is Garlean, but I think this is kind of like the Dragoon, which is, well, it's fitting considering they're both maiming sets. Like, when we say Dragoon, we know it's an Isgardian discipline, but it actually goes back to Avalonia. When it was the origin. I think this is a Garlean discipline, but it goes back and actually maybe evolution.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the thing about using power of the Souls Slain to empower yourself, that's basically what we do with the Trials of the Brave. The Trials of the Braves, that is the Zodiac Brave weapon questline and the Resistance weapon questline. I think that neither the Anima weapon nor the Eureka weapon use that concept of using the souls of the slain. They use more the light gathering. But the Zodiac the Zodiac weapon and the Resistance weapon, which are both inspired by evolution lore, they do actually use that concept, and it's used here as well. So yeah, that's why I think it might be evolution, and yeah.
I'm also curious if there's something like natural points of connection to the void on the source, because just the way Garlemald has always looked on the map, along with that floating island above it, that all look, quote unquote evil. I almost wonder if Garlemald is built near or on some kind of confluence that connects directly to the void. Because if it's something like that, like there's some natural access point, there is a lot that they could do with that in the story going forward.
Not sure, but could be.
I'm just having thoughts, trying to sort through them. I was going to admit a little bit earlier, I have no doubt that there will be an excellent expansion after Endwalker, but much like I was unable to see past Wrath of the Lich King, I cannot see past Endwalker. I can't predict where they're going from there. And it's an interesting place to be. I haven't felt that emotion in, I don't know, is it 10 years?
Of course, there will be people saying, like, the original is nothing is going to be the original, blah, blah, blah. But they're making clear that this is the end of an arc. So arc is a different arc. You can't judge the coming arc by, an arc that's finished. So this is going to be a story, and the next story will be completely new. And whoever says, whoever sets comparisons, I will think it's absurd to do that.
It's just a really weird point to be in because so much of the next arc is dependent on what happens in Endwalker that it's
Mhm.
very difficult to predict what's going to happen next, especially since we don't have hard confirmation on whether the next, expansion will be a self-contained story or if we're starting a new arc. I believe they have strongly implied it's going to be a new arc entirely. So we could be looking at another 10-year saga or we could be looking at, a 5-year saga or something. But we still have Maricidia and the New World to go to. There's probably other places on the planet that we haven't been to. There's space, there's the Dragon Star, there's the Omega Star. But there's also the rejoining plot if they decide that, they want to lean into that. There's so many different ways that they can take it.
Yes, and there's
And
also the statement that this is the end of the Hydaelyn and Zodiac arc, which like the end of the Hydaelyn and Zodiac arc can simply mean this is where we deal with these two, and we
yeah.
focus on different things that maybe the ancients, maybe the rejoinings, the other shards. Doesn't have to mean necessarily that the plot of the convocation, the ancients, and all that stuff is abandoned.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's a lot of threads that are interwoven.
Mhm.
There's the Hydaelyn and Zodiac arc, which is interwoven with the Convocation, the Ancients, the Sound, the Final Days. But the Sound and the Convocation could technically be considered part of a separate story arc. So it ending the Hydaelyn and Zodiac arc may not necessarily mean that we're dealing with the Sound itself in the expansion.
In
So
fact, I highly doubt we are. But
I
this
so
is
do
another
think
I.
issue. It's like I just don't. It's like it's just what do you mean? Like
Do you want to know
what
what
does
my
Square
current
Enix
take
mean?
is?
I mean, please share.
I think what they're going to do is that the next arc is going to function as a sequel to this one that we're about to end. I think that we're basically closing book 1 and we're going on to book 2. I don't think we're closing, like Harry Potter and then switching over to Game of Thrones.
No, yeah, I get you there. I guess
Yeah.
the issue is once you deal with all of the Asians and presumably there's no impetus to rejoin, why on earth would the people of the source try to rejoin when it involves, at this point, slaughtering entire planets? So,
Well, that's kind of what Meowth and I were touching on is like it being the end of the Zodiac and Hydaelyn arc doesn't mean that we're dealing with all of the Asians in
uh,
Endwalker because we're
same
missing like
time,
but
5
like
or 6 of
80%,
them.
right? Like 85% chance.
like
I
at the
don't
same
think so.
So,
at the same time think that, for example, if we feel we kind of deal with Hydaelyn and Zodiac in Endwalker, maybe the Sound, then the Asians no longer will have the motivation or the thing that okay, we're rejoining things that will empower Zodiac. So I'm interpreting that Hydaelyn and Zodiac will be out of the picture. Whether it's because they fade away, whether it's because they're too weak, whatever. But I think that the rejoining is still. Koji Fox said that it's an anti-natural state for the world to be like that. So I think the rejoining plot may be used later for finding a not so destructive way of rejoining that may actually take centuries on the making, but slowly but surely.
yeah. It'll have to be contrived, but I'm sure they'll be able to contrive something.
Yeah, I mean like I've brought this up before, but like my thoughts on the metaphysics of the sundering and how the shards being shards right now could be extremely detrimental in the long run to the source and well to themselves as well, because they're supposed to be whole. Like, with the planet being sundered, I still have a strong suspicion that that means the star is basically sick and dying quicker than it normally would. Which, if we also then factor in, the final days coming back and the sound, that process might get sped up and put the players and, the world in a situation where they have to be like, do we just accept death, or do we try to fix the planet so that future generations can live, even if it means people are going to have to die now?
Yeah.
But we also know we could spend like the next 4 days or more talking about that topic.
I just don't think Square is going to put the they have gray villains, but the heroes are often just straight heroic. And I don't know if they would be willing to push the protagonist into that corner. And I suspect they wouldn't. There might be some other pathway.
My counter to that is that they kind of let Yoshi P do a lot of whatever the hell he wants with the game.
He's earned
Oh
it.
no, I'm speaking of him though, him and the team. I'm not speaking of the corporate structure of Square Enix. I mean, like, based on their prior history, I don't see that necessarily coming to be. It'd be a curious twist, and I think we'd all be very surprised, except for Bonnie, perhaps.
I mean, I would be surprised to an extent. I mean, I would personally take the game way darker than their rating would allow, just because I like dark fantasy. But Yoshi P has said numerous times that he prefers gray morality in general, not just in regards to villains, versus, like previous Final Fantasy titles where you're right, the heroes are heroic. I think because of things that Yoshi P has said, it is very likely that they may actually push us in a more gray direction.
If he's taking leaves from Yasumi Matsuno's work and from Final Fantasy XIII, that certainly is on the making for rather gray heroes.
Roxas brings up an interesting point in chat.
Yeah.
Maybe when Heidelin is gone, the shards will fix themselves. If she can unmake stuff, maybe she and her death can make it again. Like,
that could also be dangerous for the source, because it would have to be if she's gone all of a sudden and the dam of a sword breaks all of a sudden, it would be like 6 shards coming into the source at the same time. Yeah.
I agree with you, Meowth. What I would compare this to is like a super apocalypse where the entire source actually dies, but since the life stream's whole, we all get reborn in a new world.
Yeah, something like that.
We're all super
have
dead.
You been playing Lightning Returns?
No. That's what would happen.
Silent.
As long as we're pulling the trigger. Like,
have you been playing Lightning Returns? I mean,
no.
So maybe that's why we go to the moon, huh? It's like, oh shit, all the shards are returning to the source. Yeet! Oh, to the moon.
I'm not going to tell the spoilers in case, because I think there are some of my viewers for the 13 stream are watching. But you would be surprised to where the souls of mankind go for haven in Lightning Returns.
Yeah, like there's just so many interesting things they can do in Endwalker. And yes, yay, more trauma for the wall.
Hey, are we expecting?
Yeah, well.
Are we expecting a Final Fantasy IV style moon alien humans?
We have the rabbits.
That far? No. I mean like secret tribe of ancients.
Okay,
still
so
hanging out inside the core. For real.
Okay, so
I mean, like, really.
So like my personal like serious not shit posting expectations for Mare Lamentorum, I do think there are going to be Amortines or at minimum Amortine shades on the moon somewhere, either on the surface or inside of it.
I don't want
I think
shades. I want the living thing.
Yeah,
would
like I want the
think.
real thing too.
I don't think, if I may, I don't think if we find ancients in the moon, I don't think they will be shades in the fashion that Emmett Silk fashioned. Because, sorry for the redundance, but I don't think they will be figments of memory given form. But maybe there are more an arcane entity, ghost, if you will, because Zodiac, after all, was made from souls of ancients, whole ancients. So maybe they are still inside Zodiac, but they can manifest outside.
Yeah, that's something that is probably possible too. Like just the buildings on Mare Lamentorum in the concept art we get, like, and that big purple hole and the like life stream river stuff that's underground. I just expect the unexpected, essentially, because I feel like a lot of people don't genuinely expect that we're going to have ancients on the moon. Most people seem to think, it's going to be Allagans or just the bunnies or something like that. But I think there's a very
There's
real chance we'll actually have ancients on the moon.
there's the basically Elidibus's moon house. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with his totally not a rocking chair. It's like so close, but it doesn't have curved feet. It's so close. It's got that vibe to it.
well, we don't know. I mean, I assume that it would be Elidibus's moon house, but that would be perhaps too obvious.
Old man Elidibus.
And then, I mean, it could be inside
Free
of
of
the moon
damnable
too,
duty.
like I'm just excited in general because there's so many ways they can go with it.
So I think it's time for Fao to check the benchmark.
All right, don't expect screaming or anything, but I will be watching it for the first time, with the exception of the first 25 seconds, which I have seen about 30 times. Getting the window set up.
All right, Meowth and I should go on mute for this.
Sure.
Okay.
I guess I'll go live mic or something.
Yeah, do it.
I'll just hold down the button. All right. Bigify screen. I said big. Thank you. You're so good, Zombie Zanetta. If the volume is too loud or too not loud, let me know. Does that count as a hot second? Okay, drop it down a little bit. Fail. Like all of these Western characters, but the lack of Western. Responding to slow. It's boat time. See, Charlene's not evil. Poor Cobra. I like its beach music. Charlemont. That's funny. Asian First Class says it's Charlemont. I was just talking about this actually. How Charlene is hosting a proto-Ozma. Super dangerous, non-interventionist, high technology. I'll repost it for YouTube in a minute.
Zishu Puff.
Yeah, White Mage can provide venison. It's actually pretty useful. That would break the sword. Sorry. There's a lot going on there. A lot. Where's my friends?
I freaked out
Welcome
a little
to
bit,
Raid Shadow
more than a little
Legends.
bit when I
If you're
realized that they
wondering-
were showing the benchmark trailer, because this is really early for a benchmark, isn't it?
Well, I mean, yes. Like,
They are
5
kind
months.
of they're kindly giving food so we don't starve.
I mean, it is a
Basically,
real
yeah.
danger. Like we've talked about before, the position Blizzard is in because of patch cycle issues, and um,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Totally.
I wish they would give us food in the form of the Endwalker trailer music isolated.
I mean, there were a few tracks there that I really was like, what's this one for?
Oh, foul. Apparently they can only hear me and Meowth, but they can't hear you. Yeah, your avatar's not lighting up, so something went bonk. I blame Raid Shadow Legends. It is. It's fine. Definitely go back to the benchmark trailer. Let's see. But yeah, the I'll explain the Charlemagne thing real quick. Asine First Class, also known as Silent, is who I was watching the PLL with on Friday. And he got to deal with my tipsy butt. But he was also quite excited, and he said Charlemagne instead of Charlene, and I lost my mind. Like, I immediately pinged Soldier in Discord, and I was like, you need to change Silent's Discord name to Charlemagne. And that is now Silent's name in Discord.
that's great.
I love that shot. That's probably the most. It's a bit sad that the shot that most uh, had the most effect on me was the first one, the first segment.
Yeah, like us leading the Garleans into battle. Like, hello, what?
It's expected. They're
I've
completely
been
screwed.
calling that
Mhm.
for I've been calling that ever since 5.1. So
Yeah, well, so I mean, the way the story's going, as you all know, like Garlemald's screwed, dude. Like they are mind control tower junkies, completely wrecked. No emperor. The guy who could be emperor is 1 evil, 2 is killing everyone. If there's anyone left, we are definitely going to lead an offensive with Imperials in our.
and they're basically
So,
at ground zero, final days points 2.0. So
yeah, they're screwed. Look at this. Look at these monsters. Like, some are new, some are old. All are void sent terminus beast combinations.
Things, yeah.
Like, it's
Did
very
you
clear.
notice? So it's a really
That's a cool
interesting
ability. I missed it.
section. This section actually hard confirms Garlemald has cars.
Yeah. I saw that
yes.
earlier. Of course they do. I mean, we haven't seen them, but of course they do. We saw the streets.
Yeah.
You don't have streets if you don't have cars.
Yup.
Many of these, some are new, but many of these are terminus beasts.
You know
Yes,
what
exactly.
was actually driving me a little bit crazy about this assault on Garlemald part?
No.
We don't have fire falling in the sky yet.
Yet.
Yeah, none of the shots in the entirety of this thing has meteors or fire or crystal falling. The sky is still relatively, like, normal throughout this. And I'm not over Omega, by the way.
We don't actually know if it's the real Omega, because the real Omega should be inside the toy Alpha and
So-
Sid and Nero have.
I have an opinion.
I do. I think that either it's a recreation by, if my theory about the Dreamer is true, or perhaps the Guardians have been trying to replicate the Omega weapon, turning into a proper weapon, not just Omega.
Well, so that's exactly what I was going to say as well. The Omega weapon is not Omega weapon. It's Omega. Like, to make a technology about it later, that could be the Omega weapon.
Yeah. I do have another, like, slightly more far-fetched thought regarding that Omega. It could be a teaser for Omega Ultimate.
Oh, sure. Oh boy, this is not the podcast for this, but Dalriada implications.
I like how you get a brief glimpse of Radzat Han through this fly-through, by the way.
Sure.
Yeah. Pre-tra.
This zone looks like it's going to be massive. Like, they did say the entire island of Thavnir, but, you know, me being me, I assumed it's going to be shrunk down, but it doesn't look very shrunk down to me.
It's really, really expansive.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and again, I'm not really complaining about the zone size. It's fine when you're story questing, but once you've completed it all and you've got 3 teleports, and like a great example is Ilmeg, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's tiny, dude. Like,
Yeah.
it's not. It's small. It's like 2 towns and a hamlet and a lake. So size can be deceiving due to scale.
Thing behind Xenos, what the fuck it is? Because it looks like the tower summit or core or something, but it looks also like a coffin of sorts and a heart. It's, I don't know what the fuck it is.
It looks like a bunch of resonant eyes as well.
So, I'm actually more interested about the beast that goes poof and then reveals Xenos, because I don't know if you guys have noticed what it is yet.
Yeah, it shares. It's like a winged serpent in the form of the first beast.
Yeah, it's like first beast turned into a centipede alt-right model.
Lovely.
Like, that's...
Listen, he's just resonating into beasts.
I mean, it looks like he kills it.
It does, yeah.
And then I like that he kicks Alizé in the head.
Yeah, Reaper has a kick confirmed. I guess you guys didn't...
Like, that may be my favorite part of the trailer. Just
Alphino
Alizé getting
summons a
kicked
box.
in the head. Yeah, Alphino summons a box.
Like, guys. I guess I'm kind of a hater. I do like this trailer. I am not hyped because of it.
He goes
What's wrong with
resonant
me?
eyes here.
Yeah, resonant eyes. I'm just really curious because there's so many like new you know, monster models. It feels like they showed us a lot, but if you actually like watch it again, you realize, wait a minute, there's no fiery rain of death. There's no blue crystal rain of death like from the Endwalker trailer in Thavnir. There's definitely, you know, beasts everywhere and not much else, and Fandaniel's not present. Like,
I'm only seeing a limited number of new abilities as well. I know that they only ever show one, but I'm not seeing one
So-
for each
I
one.
would wait for job trailer action for that.
so
making the
Yoshi
job.
P specifically said on Friday that he outright said no to showing certain skills.
Okay, good. Then we know better.
Yeah.
There's this circle shield thing he's using.
The way they dissipate is really bugging me. The fuck. hell?
Yeah, the fact that they don't dissipate into ether is probably
like
noteworthy.
it's like in a sense it's like disgusting flesh.
See, I kind of think it looks like they're dissipating into ashes.
I would agree if not because of the fleshy color.
Yeah, like it's
This-
really just overall quite strange though, because we've always had stuff dissipate into ether. Or
Yes,
just,
but these
fall
no.
down and, fade out in the
These
world.
these do
course.
not even purple ether like the telotheria.
Yeah,
The lunar primals.
Yeah, like, if anything, I had expected them to dissipate into purple ether, like lunar Bahamut and whatnot. And yeah, like Silence said, it seems like they're hiding the meteors.
They're
falling
probably
for now,
hiding
which
anything.
is weird to me, though. Because, like, we know it's going to happen from the trailer and other stuff that they've shown. So what is it about them falling that they feel the need to hide?
Theories,
Yeah.
but
And
I
yeah,
don't know.
also what Silence said just in these cutscenes, either that or the Terminus beasts somehow show up before the meteors. And this is just like the first wave. Like, that could be possible too. Because we don't really know
We don't know the
necessarily what the
circumstances for what caused the meteors precisely.
Yeah, and we don't. I mean, we sort of do. It's implied that one of the beasts specifically called them down.
The first beast uses meteor, you know.
Yeah. And supposedly the meteors were summoned by the beasts. But I also feel like that may not entirely be correct. It
Yeah.
could be like, yes, it used meteors, but like the grander global scale stuff wasn't specifically that.
you recall Elizabeth was mentioning in 5.2 that Hyloin can literally pluck meteors from the sky.
Yeah, she'll pluck passing comets and whatever in order to awaken people to the echo.
And I agree with Roxas because I don't see Xenos becoming a Scion or anything like that. He is stated to be not an unredeemable character, but not a character you're meant to sympathize for. Of course, there's probably people who are going to sympathize with him, but
I don't know why.
he's not meant to be that. I mean,
Xenos
stated by the devs.
He's an antisocial,
Yeah.
amoral, abused as a child, but honestly, to be a murderer of the highest degree, like, you're not meant to sympathize.
I'm still going with my crackhead theory of Xenos as a Scion is just going to be one of the other Asians deciding to possess Xenos' corpse and be our friend.
That's funny.
Oh shit! Here we go again.
Bonus points if it's Hades possessing Xenos.
No. No, that's no. For a short time, perhaps, but not forever. Please, no.
I mean, that size difference, though. He'd be so tall.
Miss Lena said quite a while ago, can we let Maxima out of the fridge, please?
Fine, yeah,
Yes,
I will
please.
agree with that. But I was actually considering the thing that maybe, like, in a guest party member, like Lena was in Holminster Switch, and the XR back then. Maybe we may have Xenos for a trust, which is kind of an oxymoron, Xenos and trust, but okay. But I'm not ruling out that possibility that, you know, the enemy of my enemy is an alliance of necessity, but afterwards Xenos wants his fight and he won. That's basically what he wants, and I don't see him making any sacrifice for the greater good and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm trying to, I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I just had a thought that I meant to bring up to you guys. I know I said it a bit in one of our Discord chats, but also it probably got buried. Normally in these benchmarks, the last boss that you fight is usually like the level 63, 73-ish, 74 trial boss. So what I was expecting to see us fighting in the benchmark trailer for Endwalker was going to be Anima or the Magus Sisters. Instead, we get Xenos. So do we think we're getting 3 trials? Do we think Xenos is a dungeon boss? Or do we think that they're using our expectations against us and Xenos is actually at some completely different part of the leveling process?
I think Xenos may be an instance. But there could be like a dungeon boss, then an instance. It doesn't have to. They mentioned they're going to break the flow in that regard, but I do agree that Xenos is mostly a red herring, because yeah, everyone is expecting Xenos to be like the big bad, and I'm like, no.
So I have an opinion on this and a hope. I do not want to see Xenos to be another dungeon boss. I would rather see a trial, and I would rather see a trial where he isn't a primal. Like, for real. I just want a straight fight, kind of like
Varys.
Like Varys, but I also don't want it to be an off-screen retcon. Like, I don't want him to get killed. I don't want him to, some nonsense happens. I don't want, Varys is a memory. It's not really the fight, and I feel like he could have been better used. Not that the story didn't go well. It's just seemed like more things could happen, and Xenos doing that was literally cutting it short, which was the point. But I don't want to see that happening in Endwalker. I want to see a straight fight.
You know,
personally,
how many characters, like other than the Scions, were actually in that Xenos section? I didn't actually count them. I know there was an Astro.
Alfino and Alice. The others.
I mean other
no.
than them.
No, I think not.
in that exact fight, yeah, it was just the two of them, as far as I could tell, that were on the actual tower.
No, I mean other than the Scions, because there was an Astro that cast a spell during that part.
I think there wasn't even a Stenian there.
Are you asking what jobs were present? I'm not clear on the question.
Like,
there was an
what
Astrologian,
representations of player characters were there? Because it usually matches what the actual game content is going to be. So, like, is there 8 players there?
Oh, I see. Is the number
Is
match
there
trial versus dungeon? I gotcha.
Oh, okay. I think that it might be a trial. Because there was there were the Warrior of Light, there was Alfino and Alice, there was an Astro, there was a Dragoon. I think there was a Gunbreaker too.
I'm looking at the actual
a Summoner.
scene.
There was a Summoner as well.
Yeah, so... but not all in the same section, I don't think.
No. In that section in the tower, they were all of these. They were there. In fact, the team that goes into the tower, they're kind of 8 people, I think. We should count the mounts.
I'm looking at the actual arena right now. There's some monsters in it. I see Alfino, Alice. I see a summoner. Yep. Paladin. Astro. Yes. Dragoon. Red Mage. Sorry. So yeah, it's Alfie and Alice and Paladin, Summoner, Astro.
It's a bar too. I didn't see the bar.
There's a Dragoon. Gunbreaker. It's all the jobs are represented, I think. I'm trying to see if I can.
Yeah, it looks like that section is specifically an 8-man.
Yeah, it looks like 8.
But I wouldn't be surprised though, because in Shadowbringers benchmark, for example, in a cinematic that was similar to this one, when the Warrior of Light and company are going to the castle of Heel Meg, and then they put Titania into the final arena of Don Meg.
So that was my point. Like, the number of players usually matches up with what type of fight the boss is, but the arena is different.
The arena is irrelevant. So what we are seeing, though, is a super boss and a phase 2 Xenos. Might be a tell.
Yeah. Because, like, so this could very easily be, the Thavner Tower or some other tower. Most likely the Thavner Tower. but then Xenos not actually being the correct boss for it.
I mean, yeah, could be. Because the tower is there. I don't really think Xenos is going. But Titania wasn't really far off from Don Meg. It was the boss of that zone. So
Yeah, like I've been saying for a while now that I think Xenos is actually going to get fought pretty early.
yeah, I agree with that.
Like it could very easily be, the Innocence situation where it's
Fought
dungeon
and
and
slain
then
or
trial.
fought? Fought and slain or fought?
I don't necessarily think we'll slay him early. I think there's a distinct possibility that will happen because one of the things I'm kind of expecting to happen in Endwalker is either the Warrior of Light just snaps or we end up in a fight to the death with Xenos and or Fan Daniel and take them both out, and then suddenly we have absolutely no one to question about how to stop what they've set in motion, leaving us to scramble to try and figure out a way to stop the final days.
And then it all ends with slaying Vena.
Did you say slain or lane?
Yes.
All the yes. Boy.
I mean, to me, I think it's like the logical conclusion. Knowing Vena's character, of course, they may touch here and there, but every Final Fantasy 12 fan, are any Final Fantasy 12 fans here in the chat? Because every Final Fantasy 12 fan I know that has gone through 2.2 5.2, and they reveal Vena's name, Heidelin's heart to be named Vena. I think none of any of them had any different reaction that wasn't, oh fuck. Because yeah, reasons. And knowing Yoshi P is a fanboy of Matsuno's work, choosing that name for that character is totally deliberate, and it does not bode well.
As far as what Sludge Prince is saying and not thinking Xenos will die, if at all, until way later in the expansion, it could be... I'll compare it to the tarot card death, where it's not actually physical death, but instead it's a new beginning. Because I kind of wouldn't be surprised if Xenos has something bad happen because of the Resonant, or something bad happen from being a Reaper, and something just yeets whatever soul he has out of his body, destroys it, and something else takes over. Especially since he was talking about wanting to, sup on the aether of the Elder Primals for our big battle. And they've been teasing that he's going to be controlling the quote-unquote you-know-what. I'm kind of getting the vibe
Quote,
that
unquote,
Xenos
like that was
is
how it
going
was
to...
called.
Huh?
So I'm so sorry to interject. You said quote unquote.
Yes, I did.
The you know what. That's what it's actually called.
Yeah. I know. But like, I get the vibe that they're going to do something like just have Xenos cease being Xenos and just something else takes over. Like whether it's, whatever he's pulling on as a Reaper, whether it's anima, whether it's whichever primal he
Voldemort.
decides to nom on. Oh god, Voldemort. Sure. Now I'm just picturing Voldemort with Xenos' hair, and that was an image I did not need.
How dare you share that vile thought?
Misery loves company, don't you know?
Xenos kind of wants to take control of a snake. Well, eat a snake.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh,
I'm not.
zombie. I was talking to Bonnie, not you. That's a hilarious thought. I just her combining the two images. That's on her.
No, but I don't really know. I think the hypothesis of dealing with Xenos and maybe Fan Daniel, because I don't think Fan Daniel will be dealt the same way as Xenos, but there's the other theory we posited. Whatever.
Yes.
That was that Vena and Fan Daniel were working together. So in that sense, if Xenos is defeated and Fan Daniel goes to find refuge with someone we may believe is benevolent, then we will probably still stuck at the same place. No one would say a thing about the final days if it goes according to Keikaku. So basically, same situation. Either we find something on the moon, either we find a proper ancient.
I mean, we also still have, the floating continent that is very Amratine, and
Yeah.
that Amratine dungeon that I am putting my money on is inside of the moon.
Sure, I would like to think for now, until I am I have to eat crow, that it is one of the floating islands above Garlemald. But I could be wrong.
I'll do a quick rundown of why I think the Amratine dungeon is inside the moon. It's like a very me being hyper analytical, scientific, and trying to put logic into a fantasy game kind of thing.
Go
So,
team.
because they've I wonder why there's gravity and air on the moon, and why is it habitable? If you pay attention to the Amratine dungeon they showed in the dungeon trailer, it's cordoned off into sections that correspond to different elements, and I'm just going on a limb and assuming that it's basically a big Amratine elemental generator that is making the moon habitable.
Maybe it's inside Zodiac.
Lewd.
Talking about eating snakes earlier.
I swear it wasn't my intention.
So now we need a version of Meowth's avatar that has Gaius' helmet on it.
Why?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I get why. Sorry. Such devastation.
So Meowth, when are you making a character on our data center? Or on
I
North
have
America?
one. One. The problem is I would have to give him a level boost because I'm after 25 characters I'm a bit lazy.
Yeah, I don't want to do 26 characters through.
I'm going to
all
have to
that.
do a 26 because
you're
male
bunny.
bunnies.
Yeah.
But I could, but my worry is that I'm going to have to level to still clear Shadowbringers. And I'm going to have to level up to 80, and Endwalker is kind of near. So
Yeah.
maybe I should wait until Endwalker to level up a character, but then when Endwalker comes, they will probably add the continent travel, and it will all be pointless. So it's kind of I'm not sure what to do with you. I look at my only character in North America servers and you're level 1. I'm not sure what to do with you.
I'm putting my Alita bunny in Discord because reasons.
I know the Fantasias. I just want to create characters.
Yeah, Meowth has a lot of RP children. A lot.
Yes. well, RP. I RP with myself, so
Yeah.
I've never RP'd with no one. I basically written everything for myself.
Also, Fao, if you want to show that Alita bunny, feel free.
Oh yeah.
Do you know the thing though about the trailer? That's something they've been kind of pushing in terms of symbol. It's symbolical, so I'm inclined to believe that this is not underhanded, but it is actually something they want the people to realize and not realize at the same time. This is visual rhetoric. So sorry for the messy explanation. But whenever the moon appears, in it here in the benchmark and at the end of 5.55, it's like the moon appears and shines. It's the symbol of hope. It's like for the Guardians here, when the Warrior of Light appears and they lead the charge, the moon appears and it's like there's a light in the sky. I mean, of course, the moon shines because it's a reflection of the sun, but still, there's still thematically it also works. So. He has floppy ears.
Yeah, I just had to make him the shortest male Vera height and give him the floppy ears. Like, I had to. I just had to.
I mean, I don't know if we can talk mods in live stream. Probably not. but
I'd avoid it, but they are a thing.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, probably they will port. There will be some port of the Viera only hair to other races sooner than later. So.
Yeah, some people were noticing that in all the pictures of the job specific gear that they showed during the PLL, they showed a Vera wearing a gold saucer hairstyle that's not currently wearable by Vera. And they showed some
They showed the
Vera
Hrothgar helmet.
Yeah, that too. But they also showed on one of the female Vera that they had an alternate version of one of their existing hairs as well. So it looks like we may be getting some more customization options, at least hair-wise, for Vera.
I mean, I'm fine with the hairstyles my bunny girls got, but yeah, fair.
I don't really like any of these artifact armors.
I like the samurai one, but the angle in that screenshot is not good to see it. I love the Dark Knight one, but again, not a good angle.
The Paladin is great too. I like the red mage one too. Machinist is great. The astrologian one I really enjoyed because it was like a constellation with the jewelry and stuff, and I was like, that's great. And the Gunbreaker one, I know people say it's plain. I like it because Gunbreakers are meant to kind of be bodyguards of sorts, so they're kind of dapper tank. I really like the Gunbreaker one. And otherwise, I think the others are fine. Except white mage, of course, because I'm a white mage, but it's like I'm white mage, but I liked black clothing. It's always a bad combination. And the dragoon one looks great. Dragoon. No, I was kind of saying that the dragoon gear set for level 90s, I really like that one.
Oh, yeah, the dragoon set is really good.
The dragoons always have a really nice gear. Usually, I think I like every single one of their gear sets.
No, I've been doxxed by Reddit. It tried to make me log in, showed my real
Yeah.
name.
Oh yeah,
All
we
right.
basically confirmed that anyone who's into Savage rating, cancel Christmas.
Yeah. Oh boy. All right.
Normal
Well,
is going to come out 2 weeks before, or I mean 2 weeks after Endwalker launch, and then another 2 weeks after that, the Savage mode is coming out.
Well, and for me, I don't do that. I don't do Savage, so
I'll just read through some of these. Compilation of live Q&A from the 14-hour podcast, originally posted on Discord. I thought I would expand its visibility by posting it here as well. We are looking at Saya Amamiya from Chocobo posting this document. Question: will the upcoming new raid, Pandemonium, be implemented at the end of the year? Yes, it is scheduled to be implemented at the end of the year, so please open your schedules, aka cancel Christmas.
La Habrea is come to ruin on everyone's Christmas.
We need a La Habrea Grinch artwork now.
It's funny. The caster composition has improved a lot since the Shadowbringers. Okay. So in your view, what do you think of the current standard 2-caster composition? Well, nothing much I can talk about. I mean, this is something we've been working on extensively to ensure no jobs are excluded from party composition, but recently there are quite some battles that seem to favor the ranged and casters rather than melee. While this doesn't mean the melee are excluded, but we are going to work further to better the situation to ensure you can still clear them without issues no matter what job you bring. This is speaking to this entire expansion has very much favored people who don't have cast times, and since the DPS checks are actually rather low, as long as you just manage the mechanics properly, which again is a challenge, but if you do that, you can clear any fight with very low DPS.
Yeah.
Really, like, I hesitate to bring in the well-known parsers, but essentially gray or green can clear almost any fight in the game.
Yeah, they can.
They just can. So just obey the mechanics. Any job can clear. But part of this, the battle design, the battle team, a lot of great fights, but they're just you're constantly moving. So if you have to cast a spell, good luck.
Yeah, and in some of the tiers, it's been really bad for melee just because the hitboxes are so small that you can't have
Right.
melee uptime unless you come up with like specific positioning that allows for melee to resolve their mechanics in melee range. The
Yes.
final tier has been a lot better for that, but there's still some issues where you might drop DPS, especially depending on which strategies you do in like E11S.
This is also an issue with
I don't
Summoner.
I don't play Savage, but I still remember the third near raid, and some of the fights, especially comes to mind the third boss. If you are trying to land a spell as a black mage, you better know what the rhythm of the battle is going, because there are some phases where you can actually stay still.
Yeah. I was going to say Summoner has a distinct problem, apparently. I don't know this from experience, but I've been told that because Demi Bahamut and Demi Phoenix kind of want to be next to you at all times, if you move, even though you have a bunch of instant casts at your disposal, you lose uptime from your primal, because they can't auto-attack unless they've already moved next to you. So they actually aren't... They're not biting if you're moving. And it's very min-maxy, but I've been told that's a problem.
Oh, that reminds me, something interesting that people have noticed in the trailer is Summoner uses some very interesting mechanics in the benchmark trailer. It looks like they use Ifrit's Crimson Claws and also teleported to one of the mobs.
Yeah, is it a gap closer?
Yeah, it sounds like Summoner has a gap closer, which is odd, but
It would
could
be
be
Would be nice to
could
have
be
a melee
hint of the
caster.
trance system that people are theorizing it may be switching to.
Yeah,
Maybe
I'm in
it's
favor.
you turn into a melee caster of sorts with Crane.
Level 74. You don't learn it, you just get it.
Yeah. That is one thing I miss about the class quests, even though I understand why they've had to cut back on those.
I
Fucking
don't think
Phoenix.
it was a wise choice. I know it was wise in the sense that they got much better story content out and adhered to their patch cycle, and we've got new experimental content types. It's great, but I still have a peeve about learning to summon Phoenix without a job quest. That's sorry. What happened?
Coils happen technically.
No, but like, how did this character who just like, ding, I've got Phoenix now. I don't understand. So,
Yeah, it is definitely a huge downside. Like, I like the level 80 job quests where, we got like our final hurrah with the job quest characters. The Dark one destroyed me for like a week. Dark Knight, rather.
I just did that one.
Yeah, so when I initially did it, I didn't realize that the journal updates after you finish it. So
I see.
I went and read the completed entry, and it like absolutely destroyed me.
I have not done that, and actually, I do want to reiterate to anybody who's watching, this is something I missed out on, but the quest completion text is often different and tells you stuff. It's kind of like checking your archive in a mainline Final Fantasy game these days. Like there's some stuff in there that you're missing unless you scope it out.
Yeah,
Final
and during
Fantasy
certain
13.
parts of the Dark Knight quests, there's actually text that pops up like throughout working on a quest too that like foreshadows what's going on in your quest line. Like it's really well done. It's really subtle and a lot of people miss it because most people don't read their quest entries.
Got quite a lot of Q&A stuff here. I
Oh
guess
yeah, it's a
I'll-
lot. That's why I was like scroll through it, look for stuff that may be
yeah.
interesting. But
Let's
I
link
also
it.
linked it in both chats.
Excellent. Okay, so I'll just scroll
Maybe
through and
for
see if there's
closing,
anything.
because we're nearing the
Yeah, we're 10 minutes to
2-hour
close.
limit,
Yeah.
So we're gonna
we could
quick
put-
fire through this.
I was going to put to suggest putting up the level 90 artifact gear sets and commenting on that.
Yeah, like while Fal goes through this, I'm going to find the post that has them all in one place so I don't have to
Okay.
one by
Perfect.
one link them.
All right, let's just see here. Chocobo racing mask be died. That's not an issue. I know he means no problem, guys. We got you, but I'm just like, it's not a problem. That's not an issue, but we'll discuss it with the item manager first. Cool. There's a lot of questions I think that never come up with these Q&As. Sometimes Bonnie has something poignant, or I've had a few over the years that I just wish would be asked. We're putting together a document in case the gods ever grace us with such an opportunity. Meister action. What?
Would that be Maestro? I don't know.
Well, I mean, I know what the word means, but I don't understand. There's no. Basically, they removed the specialist system, and the job stone just gives you stats.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe this is a new thing that they're adding. Hard to say. Ninja weapons. Will we see weapons that look different from each other instead of them being the same in design? Left-right symmetry. Okay, yeah. Yeah, he says no. They're a pair of twins. Reaper. Synergy-based job. Dancer monk. No. We will reveal it in September. With that job being really chuny looking. Imagine Xenos being a Reaper that also uses synergistic skills. I personally find it hard to imagine, though. We'll tell you, but no battle litany for Reaper.
To be fair, I doubt it because the selfish DPS is already samurai. So I'm curious about what role is playing Reaper and all of this. I would like to
mean,
think maybe the buff.
I'm
would
going
be
to disagree with you, actually. Samurai is the greedy striking DPS. We don't have a greedy maiming DPS.
fair.
It is curious where
mean-
you would put it in the meta, though. If they're both maiming, Dragoon and Reaper are maiming, and then you have a striking. I mean, is it just like twinsies? Like we're gonna have a selfish maiming and a selfish striking, just like we have a buffing striking and a buffing maiming.
That's what I'm assuming they're gonna do.
I would actually prefer the Reaper to be more like the buff, maybe causing some debuffs instead of.
I would
instead
like
of-
debuffs, but they also removed debuffs because it made people create these
Mm.
like really rigid meta compositions for Savage.
Okay.
Is it possible to create a skinny Hrothgar? Nope. Answer: nope.
I mean, if you want a skinny Hrothgar and not even, wait until female Hrothgar.
I was gonna say just play Makote. They're just shaved Hrothgar. Come on.
This is interesting. They're asking him directly about Black Mage. Please share your story on which aspect you pay the most attention to when upgrading your Black Mage equipment. Answer: I'd like to know the specifics of your question, actually. Anyway, I tend to focus on spell speed when it comes to progressing Savage raids. I tend to start adjusting my casting timeline based on my current eye level, since Black Mages are purely damage-based. So the faster I can cast, the more damage I can inflict, and thus contribute to my party through damage. However, in order to my order in upgrading also depends on the raid tier. Like, for example, in 5.0, when it comes to sub-status effects, stacking spell speed is the most important factor, but as the tier goes up, the effect will diminish, so I start to switch to crit-based equipment in order to take advantage of its effect.
Huh.
When it comes to the order of equipment upgrades, I tend to start from crafted equipment first, obvious, because it's all about helping the party and ease out their burden. But after that, like most players, I start focusing on replacing the left side of my equipment, body, legs, weapon, then slowly. Yeah, he's just following the meta.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I am the meta.
Right. Whereas the way
Belts.
I'm playing Black Mage is I'm still doing a high direct hit plus spell speed build on Black Mage because it's more consistent damage.
Blam, 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 blam. Like that?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Because you aren't as RNG reliant on crits. One of the things that feels really bad to me on Black Mage right now in the crit build is if you don't crit Despair or Xenoglossy, it feels really bad because your Fire 4s do almost as much damage as a non-crit of those two spells, and I'm just like, aww.
Were there any things in here that you guys wanted to talk about? I'm just scrolling through, but you have access as well.
If Reddit will stop being dumb, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I hate how easy it is to click off posts on Reddit now.
Same.
Oh, someone asked about the Papaga emote. I'm not surprised. Let's see.
They blocked out spoilers.
There's some interesting questions in here, but nothing that like really majorly pops out to me. Like, for example, one that I find interesting is for Aura, their earrings are usually located in their horns, and it's hard to enjoy the view due to how they wear them. Will there be adjustments on that? And he's just like, there are no plans, but we'll look into this. Like, that was something I noticed when I was still Aura, is like, you can't really enjoy any of your earrings, even if you have ones that
I
you
don't
happen to
really
really
mind
like.
because I don't really like earrings, so I
Mhm.
was like Meh.
Well, it's pretty thorough, but nothing's striking my eye here.
Yeah, it's another one of those Q&A situations where I'm just like, darn, I wish.
Yeah, another wasted.
Yeah, exactly.
No hate. You're just softballing. There's some real curious. There's some stuff, guys. There's some stuff out there.
Yeah, like I'd rather, more lore questions, like
Yeah.
even if it's not necessarily Endwalker, because we know they won't
Sure.
answer that, but there's so much other lore stuff that could be asked and they might be able to touch on, but usually it's questions about, will you change this? Will you change that? What do you think about brothels in 14?
What kind of cigarettes do you smoke? That was here. You find it. For real. Oh boy. Anyway, I read it. It was in here. There it is. There we go. Well, anyway. Let's see if we have those images. The screen rip. If you don't want to see it, go away. Just kidding. Please stay. Okay. Level 90 artifact gear sets coming in 6.0. We saw them in some of them in the benchmark.
By
Yeah, but
more of
it's better to
Babylon.
look. It's better to look at concept art sheet. The Paladin gear set looks really great. So that's a great reference.
Hey, a Hrothgar in a helmet.
Yes.
I do like this gunbreaker gear.
Yeah, I do too. It's really great. I mean, I
It's
know.
classy. It's like classy
Yeah.
and naval almost.
Ugh.
Hey, I mean, have you seen all my black and gold pirate sets?
True. It's just Dark Knight and Warrior and Paladin look so badass, and then the Gunbreaker's just like, let's go to the ball.
And Dark Knight says, I'm Garlean. Kinda.
See, the reason I'm really excited about the Dark Knight set is it's very similar to one of my favorite plate sets from Final Fantasy XI. I
Take a
never
close look at the
managed to
sword.
get, but it was called the Ares armor. It was really cool.
Look, there's a mouth and a nose.
Wow.
Wow.
I don't like the sword as usual. I don't think I've liked any of the artifact swords.
The hilts keep getting longer.
They do.
Get that leverage.
And then it's got a spiky ball on the end.
Monk, I don't
I think it's
favor.
actually rather more like a star of a sun, which is fitting. Monk?
Dragoon looks beast. I'd wear that. Oh, yeah.
Looks,
Okay.
looks nice.
So
The
they had to make
Dragoon.
cool armor for Dragoon so that we would still play it after Reaper was
all according to Keikaku.
do a really good job because we don't want only Reapers.
It's really
mean,
great.
It's still going to
wear
be
it. Looks
only
awesome.
Reapers. But yeah, the Dragoon spear. I really, really, really like that spear.
Same. No. I don't like it.
I think it's fine. I like the baggy pants, but that's just a personal favorite of mine.
Yeah, I don't like the ninja armor aside from the weapon. I actually do like the ninja weapon.
Fine. Perhaps a bit longer than I would expect a dagger, but yeah.
Samurai's got that that uniform vibe as well. That gunbreaker.
Yeah, I
hat.
really like the jacket for the samurai because it's like Xenos' Dissidia outfit.
Sure, yep.
I
Yeah.
don't like the Hakama, so I would probably pair it with something else, but I do really, really like that
The
jacket.
jacket.
Yeah. I love high collars for one thing, so.
I'm torn. I actually think it would look very good on female Mikote.
it has
Probably, yeah.
it has instruments on the back, and I like it. Like you're basically turning Bard into a walking concert.
Yeah, so like I was saying earlier, I was watching the PLL with Silent and with Curious Joy, and I was slightly ahead of Joy on the stream, and as soon as I saw the Bard, I went, ew! And then she saw it, and she was like, also pretty much the same reaction. She was like, I understand why you made that noise now.
I think
That's
I
funny.
think it's not bad, but anyways.
This is
I
so
hate
a
like,
lot of the
it's-
armors in this game only work on certain character model types, and they just
Yes,
don't look
that's my
good.
problem with Astro armor as well.
Yeah,
I have
so,
that
like-
problem with Bard, Astro, and White Mage.
Yeah, like I can definitely imagine my wife wearing this on her character, and it would look
Mhm.
awesome. On Fallon, I don't think it would look good. I do like the bow somewhat, and the coat's all right. I'm torn. I don't like the hat. I hate the hat.
Yeah, the hat is awful. I
Yeah.
like the boots, and that's about it.
I don't like the boots.
The
either.
boots are actually nice.
But I also
actually,
have boots already that are similar enough because I have the elemental boots out of Eureka.
By the way, to those viewing, I do apologize for skipping through Warrior and some other jobs. We are just going with.
We went through Warrior.
We did. We went through it like immediately. It's like 4 seconds. That's just whatever.
I
we're
mean,
drawn
Warrior
to.
looks like Warrior. It looks like a mix of its ARR, artifact armor, and something new.
The
Now
axe
this-
looks cool though.
This machinist armor. I'm actually pretty invested in machinist, and it drives me crazy personally. I hate the white shirt with the red tie and the super soaker. This is a straight copy of the Shadowbringers artifact set with some slight modifications.
Yeah.
And it looks exactly like Ash from Overwatch again. That's Bob. That's Ash. So,
Yeah, like I know some
I don't like it.
people
I don't
really,
like it.
really like the machinist armor. I just, don't like it.
Fans.
I'd rather look like a cowboy at this point than that.
Totally. Well, I'm wearing the Crystarium set, and it works good for both jobs. But
Mhm.
again, it's the super soaker. You look at the. I don't know. It's okay. We don't have to like everything.
Yeah.
What's this?
Dancer.
I don't think it
1980s.
looks.
See, my immediate question wasn't even what's this or is this dancer? My immediate question was, oh dear God, what is this going to look like on males?
Are we sure this isn't like? See, this could almost work as Ninja, to be honest.
It's confirmed dancer. They are
No, I know
actually
it's
using that
dancer.
armor set in the benchmark.
No, I'm aware. It's like it would kind of be cool as an alt ninja costume.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
I almost like it. The cape skirt thing in the back bugs me a bit.
The thing that puzzles me is what the fuck is that weapon? But fair, like
Yeah.
they're not really. I mean, they said that Dancer uses throwing weapons, not just chakrams. So fair.
Yeah. Like there's a lot they can do with throwing weapons. So I would like to see them do more stuff. I would
mean,
also
they
like a pair of proper blade fans though.
Yeah, they could go if they wanted with throwing knives, because I think there's a thing with dancing and throwing knives and stuff that would
Final
be
Fantasy
really cool.
Tactics War of the Lions Dancer has access to several weapons. I think it has access to knife. So,
Yeah.
but whether knives can boomerang off of people 40 feet away, I remain skeptical.
I mean, you shoot people with ether on the other ranged melee DPS. Anything's possible, right?
Oh boy.
Black mage is usually the usual thing. I like it.
Black Mage is Matoya is now like 80 years younger and male.
Yeah. Is that like a shrunken skull on the top of that? Or is it just like a purple stone?
I think it's just a purple stone, but now I wish
Like
it was
shrunken
a shrunken
heads.
skull. Yeah. Give me voodoo and like pygmy black mage vibes. Do it, cowards.
Do it, cowards. It's kind of pseudo crypt lurker as well.
Yeah. I'm usually not a fan of black mage artifact sets, and this is one where I'm like, it's okay. I hate the summoner one.
Ooh.
I actually like this one because it's not like Bahamut anymore, but it's more like Phoenix.
That's right.
So-
They paired it with the Phoenix for a reason. This looks like Phoenix artifact armor.
So my thing with the summoner artifact armor is going to boil down 100% to the way it dies. If the white parts are what dies, fine, I like it. If it's the dark parts that die, I'm going to lose my mind.
I agree. I support your opinion.
Because like,
All right.
if it was like all black or if it was paired with a different color than that white, I could deal with it.
Will
Red
they
mage-
stop doing this?
That mage looks really nice.
I mean,
know
at
it's
least
Red Mage. I know it's iconic. I'm just so tired of that look.
I will
personally.
say I appreciate that this red mage has a corset on, and I hope that the male version has
Sure.
a corset.
Yes.
Sure. Well,
Yes.
the Agrius Oaks armor from the Evilise raid
Yes.
has a corset on
Yes.
both genders.
You know what actually bugs me the most about this red mage gear?
No.
Why is the focus a Fabergé egg?
Oh, how about why did the boots have belts on the very top, that's strangling your
They
thighs?
had to put the belt somewhere.
No, but it's
Yeah.
gonna hurt. It's gonna cut off your blood flow to your legs, man. Look at that.
Yeah, like my legs are falling asleep just looking at that.
How is Core gonna work if you can't flex your muscles? Cora flop.
Flop. You just
Is
do
that-
the fish flop across the ground.
I can't tell because of the angle, but that sword almost looks like a small sword with a revolver in it.
Yeah, it kind of does. It might be. Oh, I'm blanking on the proper name for that. The term
A
for that
bayonet?
particular sword.
A bayonet?
No.
No.
It reminds me of one of the artifact / relic grind weapons in 11 to an extent, but like made even more fancy. I'm not remembering the name of it right now though.
This outfit looks amazing in black, though.
Yeah. Well, aside from the why the fuck did they not tuck their shirt in? Tuck
You haven't seen my
your
character up close,
shirt
have you?
in, please.
You haven't seen it up close, have you?
No. Is it worse?
No, it's just clearly not tucked in if you look close enough. I'll catch you in game one of these days. Tuck your shirt in, noob.
What's the next one?
All right, White Mage. I do like it. It's kind of almost Shinto priest meets healer.
With
Like,
an
it's like
unicorn
unicorn
can
staff. Yeah.
cane.
that's cool.
Cane.
Gotta save the Monoceros, guys. They're going
Yeah.
extinct.
It's not if you've seen Shewin, it's not her style. It's just that.
Oh, I'm sure it'll
It's
keep the
fine.
frills.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's fine, but not the style I dig, and this
It's
is
like-
always my issue with white mage artifact gear.
It reminds me a bit of Yuna from 10, actually.
Yeah, it's like a weird mix
It's
of
the
things.
shoulder armor. It's like the shoulders are missing. Kind of.
That's it's another one where depending on how it dies, I'll lose my mind because imagine
sure
if
it's
it's
the
just
white.
the red part that dies and
gotta be
it's
the
not the
white
white
that
part that dies.
There's no way they'd do that to you. Congrats.
Or worse, it's one of those ones where if you apply black dye to it, the frills become gray and the white becomes black.
I don't like when they gray it. I like it when they gold it for sure. When the
Yeah,
when
like,
the frills
I would
become gold.
I really wish they would do what Vindictus and Guild Wars 2 did
Yeah,
and separate the dye slots.
Yeah, just pick
yes.
your slots. Completely custom.
Yes,
for
Guild
each.
Wars 2, the way the dice work, they're great.
Yeah, like Vindictus goes even more in depth than Guild Wars 2 does in that regard, but I would also accept the way Guild Wars 2 does it.
His color is nice. I like the coat.
Yeah, it's unassuming and classy. They're doing that a lot. This is again. I know they're all different armors, but this has the same vibe again as Gunbreaker and oh goodness, I'm having a brain moment. One of these things up here. Yeah. Bard has
Machinist?
that vibe. Samurai
Red
has that
Wings?
vibe. It's the feeling of it being a uniform. Some
Oh,
sort of
samurai,
polished up
perhaps.
formal gear. Yeah, samurai has. You see, it's just a vibe. Like this doesn't fit that vibe. The ninja, nor does the dragoon. But if you look at, say, it's almost like they had two artists, like uniform, 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 not uniform, not uniform, not uniform. Right, and then that, and this, they kind of have a. I don't know. I get a feeling from them. Are you sure they didn't just copy Shadowbringers?
They copied Shadowbringers and then were like, but what if we added more stars?
Yeah.
And made the weapon like a mix of a laurel and I don't know what.
Is this Rockstar Astro?
I like the laurel.
Yes.
And I like the constellation joining stars lines in the jewelry.
I do like it as well.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this as someone who's mained Astro since it came out.
Came out.
Yeah, came out. I have hated every single artifact armor set for Astro, except for like the gloves, pants, and boots of the Stormblood set. But I hate Astro's artifact armor with a burning passion because
it
I play a
makes
male
you look
character
like
for one thing, and the female version in Stormblood was super cute. The female version in Shadowbringers looks pretty good. The male version, I'm usually just like, what the hell are you doing, Square?
Urianger, what are you wearing? Like that?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I don't mind it on Urianger necessarily, but when I got that set on my Astro, I put it on and then like I just immediately stripped because I was like, no, I'm not playing my Astro until I get another set of armor to use on it.
Bonnie casts remove glamour.
Yeah. Like just I couldn't do it. It looked so weird on my character. Because I was a now raw at the start of Shadowbringers, and it looked really weird on my character. And then I switched to Makote male, and it still looked really weird on my character. I was like, nope.
I guess it depends on both your taste and your characters, because
Yeah.
Truly, yes.
Yeah, it does. Like, my character just looked so weird in it.
Whew.
there's a lot of glamour to choose, so you'll never be wanting in that regard. I mean,
Yeah.
I managed to put a black a black glamour set for a white mage, so
Yeah, what I ended up doing on my Astro when I had to start playing it again is I put on Falconer's Breeches, the Soothsayer, Bonewicca Sabatons, and Emperor's New Shirt. And I was like, I'm just going to run around shirtless in leather pants because this is less immersion breaking for me than the actual Astro armor. Like, that's how badly the armor just messed with me. I just couldn't do it.
You truly have no sense of shame, do you?
Nope, I do not.
Nudge, wink, wink.
So just so I check my T's and dot my I's, I wanted to thank the poster for the artifact gear. I caught the Q&A person earlier, but this was S'more of Babylon on Reddit. So thank you for compiling this for us. And I guess, I don't know if there's anything else to discuss. We're a little over time, which is surprising. I'm very
We're
happy
20 minutes over time.
Yeah. No, this has been solid. But is there anything else? Closing statements? Any news for next week? Any plans? What are we doing? What's going on?
Well, we still have part 3 of the primal discussion that we need to do. We need to see when the rest of the crew will be back from what they're doing so that we can have that discussion. If they won't be back for next week, then we will probably throw up a poll on Twitter and see what we can, do a light party discussion on next week. Maybe more of a breakdown of the trailer. Who knows?
We'll have news. Don't worry. As for the primals, we do need to have a session to set aside and just kind of discuss, because we went through all the official primals and it was just a question of whether we are going to kind of go more in depth into why the other entities are different and all this. So
Yes. And the beast stripes.
And this might not even take a full. I mean, truthfully, that's not a full episode probably.
Also depends on if we go into the Espers from the Evilise content,
Absolutely.
because we didn't do that.
That
So-
could
Look,
make
Abby
it.
is
That could make it.
another can of worms.
Yeah.
It
There's
does, it
a
does.
lot to discuss there, and then there's so many other topics we need to work on too.
Yes. So we may be in content drought of sorts, but we have plenty of things to discuss.
Yep, sure do.
Absolutely do. Well, I guess I'll sign us off then, Bonnie. Meowth. We good with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I can go get steak.
Yeah, get some dinner, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Everyone who stayed in chat with us this long, thank you so much for joining us for episode 20. I look forward to seeing you next week, and we will have a topic ready to go for next Sunday. All right, take care, everyone.
Bye.